start with the fact that Israel is lying about its objective in Palestinian territories. They're not out to defeat Hamas.
Larry Johnson has revealed some eye-opening claims about the alleged evil intentions of Israel, which we shall investigate today. These have sent shockwaves through the media and public discourse, shaking up our understanding of Israel's actions in the Palestinian territories. As a former CIA officer, Johnson offers a perspective that starkly contrasts the usual stories we hear. Stick around as we unpack his bold statements and untangle the complexities of this heated topic. Larry C. Johnson, an American blogger, political commentator, and former CIA analyst, now heads BERG Associates, LLC. He spent 4 years at the CIA as an analyst before transitioning to the State Department's Office of Counterterrorism. In 1993, he left government work to pursue a career in the private sector, focusing on business consulting and intelligence matters. Larry Johnson has questioned the basic idea behind Israel's actions in Palestinian territories. He suggests that Israel's stated goal of defeating Hamas is not the whole story. Instead, Johnson argues that Israel's real aim is more troubling: to forcefully remove Palestinians from their land, almost like a form of ethnic cleansing. This accusation hints at a long-term plan to change the demographics and control of the region, rather than just dealing with immediate security threats from Hamas. Johnson's critique goes beyond the conflict with Hamas. He argues that Israel's military moves are part of a deliberate plan to push Palestinians out, which, if true, could be considered a form of genocide. This viewpoint is a significant departure from the common belief that Israel's actions are solely about defending against terrorism. Recently, he challenged the narrative surrounding the October 7th attack by Hamas. He argues that the incident wasn't a deliberate targeting of civilians, but rather a planned confrontation with Israeli military personnel. Johnson highlights that Hamas effectively neutralized 72 members of the Golani Brigade, indicating a strategic military operation rather than random violence. Johnson suggests that the portrayal of the attack as terrorism may be influenced by propaganda. He proposes that Hamas aimed to capture Israeli military personnel and civilians to use as leverage against Israel. This interpretation challenges the mainstream view that Hamas acted solely to cause civilian casualties. Moving on, Johnson digs into an essential aspect: propaganda's role in shaping how the public sees things. He suggests that Israel's reaction to the October 7th attack was all about controlling the story and justifying their military moves. He points out how the Israeli military's version of events often clashes with what witnesses saw and what new reports reveal. For example, Johnson notes that many civilian deaths pinned on Hamas were caused by Israeli airstrikes, a fact that sharply contradicts the official narrative. Johnson also calls out some of Israel's propaganda tactics as downright ridiculous. He recalls an incident where Israeli forces staged a scene with supposed Hamas members in their underwear, armed and appearing ready for a fight. This staged act's absurdity and sloppiness, he argues, show how desperate and incompetent Israeli propaganda can be. This clumsy attempt to manipulate the truth, he suggests, undermines Israel's credibility and exposes the chaos lurking in its military operations. Now onto the conduct of the Israeli military, which Johnson doesn't hold back on critiquing. He describes them as a dangerous clown show, poorly trained and led, often breaking the rules of engagement. Take, for instance, the chaos of the October 7th attack, where Israeli soldiers reportedly shot and killed civilians who had escaped Hamas captivity, mistaking them for attackers. This incident, he argues, reflects a broader policy of shoot to kill that targets any Palestinian, armed or not, adding to the conflict's high civilian toll. Johnson claims this indiscriminate approach to warfare not only goes against international norms, but also reveals a lack of discipline and professionalism within the Israeli military. He unfavorably compares the Israeli army to more seasoned military forces, suggesting that their young, inexperienced soldiers struggle to handle the complexities of modern combat effectively. Furthermore, Larry Johnson sheds light on the Dahiya Doctrine, an Israeli military strategy named after a neighborhood in Beirut bombed heavily in 2006. This doctrine involves causing extensive destruction in civilian areas to demoralize enemy fighters and their supporters. Johnson argues that this approach is not only brutal, but also flawed. Instead of suppressing resistance, it often provokes more anger and strengthens the resolve of affected populations. He points out that this tactic has been repeatedly used in Gaza, leading to devastating consequences for Palestinian civilians. Brace yourselves because Johnson gets into Hamas's strategic planning, particularly regarding the October 7th attack. He details how Hamas meticulously prepared for the assault by gathering intelligence, training fighters, and planning their moves with precision. The objective, he suggests, was not just to harm Israeli forces, but also to force Israel into engaging on Hamas's terms. Moreover, Johnson recalls how Hamas anticipated Israel's response and turned it to their advantage. By taking hostages and drawing Israeli forces into Gaza, Hamas transformed densely populated urban areas into battlefields where conventional Israeli military tactics struggled. Johnson parallels historical conflicts like Stalingrad and Monte Cassino, where similar urban warfare tactics hindered more powerful armies. Considering the political aftermath, Johnson argues that Israel's actions not only fail to achieve military goals, but also have political repercussions. Heavy-handed tactics and civilian casualties rally the Palestinian population around Hamas, boosting its support significantly. This surge in support, he suggests, could reshape the political landscape in the region. Considering the future, Johnson offers a bleak outlook for Israel if it continues on its present course. He contends that Israel's long-term strategy is unsustainable and could lead to a significant setback for the country. According to him, the inability to achieve lasting peace and the ongoing conflict with Palestinians may eventually result in Israel's dissolution as a nation-state. Johnson foresees a scenario where a single state dominated by Palestinians emerges, potentially making it challenging for Jews to coexist peacefully. In Johnson's view, Israel's current approach lays the groundwork for its downfall. Instead of securing its future, he argues that Israel's actions are isolating it from the global community and sparking resistance both at home and abroad. Moreover, the possibility of a two-state solution, long regarded as the key to peace, seems increasingly remote in light of Israel's recent conduct. Larry Johnson's viewpoints offer a thought-provoking and essential outlook on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. His analysis shakes up commonly held assumptions about Israel's intentions and methods, proposing that the actual goals and outcomes of Israeli actions are more intricate and concerning than typically perceived. How can re-evaluating our understanding of Israel's motives and strategies, as suggested by Larry Johnson, contribute to fostering peace in the region? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you gained valuable information from this video, like it and subscribe for more eye-opening news. Thank you for watching.